Hello, Nasdaq followers. My name is Liz Glesko, and joining me on this episode of Nasdaq Spotlight is Jessica Seinfeld, founder of Good Plus Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization on a mission to dismantle multi-generational poverty. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Jessica, please share with us what inspired you to start a nonprofit organization and what immediate impact did you see?
Well, way back in the year 2000, I had my first kid, my daughter Sasha, and I felt so lucky to be able to have a child in safety, in good health, and without tons of financial stress. And I just felt like I had the opportunity to help make that happen for other moms. And so I started what was called Baby Buggy at the time, which was a network of families who had stuff to give. And we would give it to a network of organizations serving families in New York City. And it really started as a weekend long drive at the Chelsea Market in New York City. And it just really, the idea of giving back to families in need really struck a chord with people. And so we really took off from there. And here we are over 21 years later.
As someone with a unique personal background, how does your background translate to the underserved communities that you are empowering each day?
Well, my mom's a social worker by training, and my parents have always instilled in my sisters and I just the importance of being part of your community and giving back. And when I was in college, I did an internship at the probation and parole office in our town. And I was lucky to be a college student who, while during the day, I would go to my internship and have a few moms who were my own age who had their own children as clients. And what they had to do to get diapers, they had to write bad checks to pay for food, and how hard their lives were really impacted me and stayed with me. I was lucky enough to go be a college student and go home and go see my roommates and, have kind of a typical college student life. And I just always thought about these moms who were my same age and how much they were struggling. And so when I had my first child, I really just was propelled by that experience into making life easier for other moms.
With a large focus on dismantling poverty, what is Good Plus Foundation doing during the holiday season to empower those who are living in poverty?
Great question. Of course, we try to year round make people feel like they matter and that we're giving them the things that they need so they can be effective parents with as little stress as we can help provide. But in the month leading up to Christmas, we are giving away $300,000 to our families as part of our micro grants program that runs all year. Cash grants so that families can provide food and pay their rent and pay their utilities, buy medicine for their families. We had a Santa breakfast this past weekend with our incredible year in, year out partner, Nordstrom. For the 13th year in a row, we've done a toy drive with Alice and Olivia. And as we do, we partner all year long with companies like Carter's and Believe Diapers and The Children's Place and our amazing partner Chanel, who sponsored our summer dinner this summer. And we raised a lot of money to give away all year round.
What is your message for people or companies who are in a powerful position to make a difference in our communities?
Your employees are human beings and they want to feel like they are making a difference in the world. And spending some volunteer hours together builds trust and camaraderie, and it's amazing team building. And Good Plus Foundation has a robust volunteer program in New York and Los Angeles where you can come do that.
Throughout your career with Good Plus Foundation, what's the largest aha moment you've had?
That's a good question, Liz. There's been just too many to count. And it kind of happens in all different ways. From the very beginning, I saw what a pack of diapers means to a family. And when you don't have them, it can really take that whole family out. Because they've got to reuse diapers and that causes chronic diaper rash. And then somebody has to take that child to the doctor and take a day off from work and potentially lose a job. And it creates a whole downward spiral for that family. So I really, an aha moment for me is how critical diapers can be and how life-changing they are when you have them, and that when you don't, what can happen. We have so many caring and devoted families, parents in our programs, that because they can't afford diapers or they can't afford a safe place for their child to sleep or a stroller or something that's really critical to health and safety of that child, the system will call them, label them as neglectful parents. So when you're labeled a neglectful parent, you're more likely to get your child taken away from you. And when you're labeled with neglect, you also enter the system, the welfare system, that is pretty impossible to get out of. Just as an organization, when we started, we were collecting goods from individual families as well as getting corporate donations. And for years and years and years, we collected goods, and that really kept us in touch with our donor community. But we really started to see how much that was slowing down our efficiency. And during COVID, when it became clear, like, we can't accept things like strollers and cribs and clothing from individual families, that would be at this point, very challenging as an organization during the virus to keep going with. I was very afraid to change as an organization and let that piece of us go and lose that community. And we did it. And we've grown so much since then. And the quality of the goods that we give out is much more consistent. And so our programs aren't choosing, well, this family gets brand new items and this family is going to get used items, which caused a lot of, inequity in our programs. And so that was a big moment for me personally, maybe harder to understand on the outside, but being not afraid to change is something I've really learned as a founder. Fathers are a really important part of our mission, and we work hard every day to make sure that co-parenting is happening in families, even when the father doesn't have custody. And so in about 2010, we started to realize that fathers were being left in waiting rooms and left in lobbies while mom was with the child in a doctor's appointment or with a nurse. And we started to realize how important fathers were to helping dismantle poverty and helping families function better. So that was a really big aha moment for me too, realizing that fathers really aren't part of the equation.
As you look to the future of Good Plus Foundation, what are your goals?
We are going to expand our training academy that links caseworkers, social workers, healthcare providers, frontline workers with our fatherhood initiative. And we train them with father inclusive practices, which social services in our country isn't used to doing. So that's been really popular and growing every single year. And we're just going to keep distributing goods to families in need, critical goods that changes their lives and keeps them out of trouble and, makes them feel like they matter.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Nasdaq Spotlight.
Thanks, Liz.
Nasdaq followers, I'm Liz Glesko, and stay tuned for the next episode of Nasdaq Spotlight.